Hello and welcome back to the Tommy Wave Budget Deck Series. We are on the home stretch now, and today, as you can probably tell, we are doing a Warlock. Before we go through things, we'll just get through our criteria once again for the Budget Deck Series. We have no set dust limit. We're not going to go to any arbitrary numbers or anything like that. What we are going to do is focus on the core of a deck. So this is something that you can build around and adjust to your liking, and it gives you at least a place to start. We also want to make sure that we have a reasonable upgrade path with the deck. So this is having a way to invest more dust, invest more gold into the deck, and end up with a reasonably competitive deck, as opposed to spending gold and dust to make a gimmick deck that might not be so worth the investment, so to say. The other thing is we want to prioritize cards that aren't rotating. We've had a big announcement with the year of the Raven coming up, and we don't want to be spending dust or gold on cards that are going to be rotating out in what could be a month's time. We want to get a lot of bang for our buck, bang for our dust. So with that being said, I've got a whole bunch of Warlock decks here, so we're gonna take a look at some of the better performing Warlock decks by some pro players, some good players out there, and then we're gonna see what we can get off of that. So Warlock's had a couple of successful decks at the moment, mostly Zoolock and then Control/Cube Lock. Unfortunately, with the Control decks, a lot of them are playing Void Lords, Twisting Nethers, like Blood River Gul'dans, whole bunch of legendaries and epics, and they really need those to function. However, when we look at Zoolock, it's been one of the best budget decks for a long time. That's why I was thinking that this video would be a bit of a cakewalk, because Zoolock is just so there's so many good cards in the archetype. So let's take a look at a couple. So we've got MA3UD's Demon Zoolock. This is a deck that I took a look at a couple of weeks ago. A lot of these decks are going to have that same core, which we'll get to, but a lot of 1-drops here. Flame Imps, Kobold Librarians, Melchizar's Imps. A lot of these are in most decks, and the Voidwalkers. MA3UD here goes for the Abusive Sergeants and the Glacial Shards, and the Soulflyers. And this is leaning pretty heavy on the Demon archetype. 2 Crystal Weavers, which is a fantastic card, and ending on the Despicable Dreadlords and Doomguards. And so we'll jump back out, take a look at Muzzy Zoolock. This is another one that we took a look at. This one goes for a bit of a better late game package, in that it's got another 5-drop in Fungal Mancer. And it has Blood River Gul'dan as just a great kind of catch-all if you can't kill your opponent by when you're aiming to, which is maybe turn 6 or 7, if they have a lot of interaction. Then you've always got the outlet of dropping Gul'dan, bringing back a couple of Doomguards, and hoping to kill them that way. This one also had the interesting addition of Blood Imp, which actually works great with the Fungal Mancer and the Blood Fury Potions and Demon Fires, as just a threat that's hard to remove, but not a threat, rather a minion that's hard to get rid of, and always allows you to hit some buffs with Fungal Mancers and Crystal Weavers. Another list that I took off Vicious Syndicate was Frozen's Demon Zoolock. So this one had the unlicensed Apothecary, which says a lot about the options that you have as a Warlock for 3-drops, when this is something that sees play. But apparently it was quite a good choice, and you can kind of see why. 5/5 for 3, you are going to be dominating the board. Like for the turn it comes down, not a lot can really threaten it, and hopefully it can trade or get some damage in, and then you can start playing other stuff. I mean, 5 damage 1 time is not so bad, 2 times okay, but 3 or 4 times you're pretty dead, especially in a meta full of a lot of tempo mages. But that's pretty interesting. And the other deck I wanted to highlight was this Skywalker's Elemental Zoolock. This one plays Kaliseth, so not really within our budget, but I do like the idea of having the Warlock hero power with some great early elementals, Firefly, Glacial Shard, even Tar Creeper shoring up the mid game, and using Blaze Caller as another kind of Doomguard-esque card as just a way to burn your opponent out. But just wanted to highlight that one. It also has Dragon Slayers in there, which I really like. So we've seen a whole bunch of zoo decks. We've seen a lot of the strong cards, and particularly that really strong core of Zoolock. This is kind of what I've noted down as being that core, so or the one that we're going to use. So that strong early game package: Flame Imp, Kobold Librarian, Voidwalker. I was going to include Melchizar's Imp here. Where is he? There. I was going to include Melchizar's Imp, but I am aware that a lot of people might not have Karazhan, might not have done the quests or things like that, so I've omitted it here. I will say Blood Imp is a fantastic replacement for Melchizar's Imp, both that it fits the 1-drop slot and it's also a demon, so we get all of our demon synergies. So definitely consider that. So we've got those great 1-drops. We've got the Demon Fire and Vulgar Homunculus. Vulgar Homunculus, great way to stop other aggressive decks trading well into us. And Demon Fire acts as both spot removal for small minions and as a buff to get our minions out of the range of things like trades or Dusk Breakers. It's just really versatile and actually one of the low-key strongest cards in the deck, I think. Then we jump and go up to the Crystal Weavers. We want to this, not only is this a great body for a 4-drop, just like a aggressively statted minion, but if we're hitting like 1 or 2 buffs off of this, it can be truly ridiculous. And that's why we play so many 1-drops, and we really want to have a good critical mass of demons. And lastly, Doomguard. Doomguard is a rare. Is from base though. And this is like the best craft for the deck. Honest, if you want to make any Warlock deck, you should, and you want to spend a little bit of dust on it, you don't have 2 Doomguards, get 2 Doomguards. They're one of the best Warlock cards around. Definitely worth the craft. So if you haven't played a lot with this kind of archetype before, even though you are discarding 2 cards, Doomguard is just such a well-statted minion. Of 5/7 is great for trading, and also has charge, so ideally we want to be using this to hit our opponent in the face. They probably can't remove it because it's such a big minion. We have to hit them in the face again, and we can always use our hero power to restock on cards, and we even have Kobold Librarians and stuff like that. So any of these cards that require us to discard, it's really not as much of a disadvantage as it seems. And Melchizar's Imp definitely helps to mitigate that. So here's what I've come up with. Deck that we'll be playing today. I filled out our 1-drop slots. I will be playing Melchizar's Imp today, but like I said, you can feel free to replace this with Blood Imp if you don't have them. I've chosen to play the Glacial Shards instead of some of the other options. I just like Glacial Shard in a lot of like against Tempo Mage or against Paladin, where we can it can really help us get more onto the board, as opposed to just playing our minions in to get traded into. I've also just popped one of Abusive Sergeant in there. This could be any other 1-drop of your choice, but I feel like Abusive Sergeant might be good in this one. Moving on to the 2-drops, I've added a Direwolf Alpha in there. We've played a bunch with Direwolf Alpha, and it really synergizes with a plethora of 1-drops, hopefully letting us trade up or just really get some more damage in there. This card can represent, 4 power, 2 of which has charge. So fantastic card there. In the 3-drop slot, so all of the decks before had Blood Fury Potion. And while Blood of Fury Potion is great, and if you have them, 100% put them in the deck. But it is a rare, and it is from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, which is just about to rotate out. So if you've got them, go for it. If you want to spend the dust, go for it. But be aware this card is rotating out very soon. So instead I've gone for Darkshire Countsman. It's not at its greatest here. However, what I do like about it is it doesn't get killed immediately by Duskbreaker, which is seeing a lot of play, a lot of priests around. Also, it's just very resilient to AoE. Unfortunately, it does need a bit of help, more 1-drops to buff its attack up, but I think this is a good, suitable replacement. It's just a common as well, you might have some lying around. Crystal Weavers, Spellbreakers, I think going for the Silencers here is a pretty good idea. You could go for the Ironbeak Owls if you wanted to load up on more 3-drops, but just having that big body of the Spellbreaker I think is a bit nicer. And once again, if you're seeing more dragons or weapons at the ranks that you're playing at, feel free to swap these for Swamp Oozers or Dragon Slayers or whatever you feel. And I've also included the Despicable Dreadlord here. So this is not exactly the most aggressive card. It doesn't have charge. It's pretty, for a 5-drop, these are pretty weak stats. But dealing 1 damage to all enemy minions allows you to not have to focus on trading so much. And it's also just really good against Paladin, and that's going to be a tough matchup for us. But if you don't have any of these, any kind of any late game option I think will do. You could go with the Vicious Fledgling, which we've been playing. Nice common option is this Ravenous Pterodax. This can get quite out of hand if you manage to get, this can be a 4-mana 7/7 at the cost of losing one of your smaller minions. That's a great common option, but ultimately a good replacement for this is basically just any large statted aggressive minion in the end game. And to top everything off, I've also got 1 Fungal Mancer. Just wanted to split the Fungal Mancer and the Abusive Sergeant. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go more deeper on 1-drops or deeper on 5-drops, so just figured I'd split the difference and see how we go. And I've been enjoying it so far. Alright, so I'm going to cut it off there. We'll be back with some games. I'll see you all soon. Alright, I'm here with the game up against Mage. Most of the mages we've been seeing have been the tempo variety. There is some combo mage floating around. Not sure how these Despicable Dreadlords are in this matchup. No 1-drop's great though. So their 2-drops can be Arcanologist or Sorcerer's Apprentice. So if I play this Librarian, their turn 2 might be shooting it, which is fine. But if they actually develop a 2-drop, particularly the Arcanologist, we can play the Direwolf Alpha and trade in. Yeah. So now we can test for explosive runes. So it's counterspell or ice block. Counterspell Iceblock, it's not Potion of Polymorph, which I've been seeing around. It's not Ice Barrier. Pretty keen to run this Soulfire into a counterspell. Ooh. Pretty good. We're going face, or are we trading here? I think I want to go face. Oh, yeah. Not every mage is playing the Fungalmancer, but it's really good. It's an interesting play to make, though. I'm guessing the hand's probably like there's a secret there that they haven't played. The one that they got off the second Archaeologist. There's an unknown spell off the Primordial Glyph. It's probably a Pyroblast, maybe, or a portal. That makes sense. So this is not. So they have a discovered spell and an unknown. Polymorph. Wow. Ghastly Contra. I think this is the same list we played. Like I think we've played this exactly. It's where it's like one Saronite Chain Gang, one Ghastly Conjurer. Alright. If they have a Firelands Portal, it will be the worst result. Or that or Alaneth. That's probably the best result. Once again, Firelands Portal. I think Firelands Portal is just the best draw. That's also a pretty good draw. Okay, so I would hazard that that's Pyroblast, and that we're dead if we tap. But also we can't possibly trade out, so we just have to do it. Let's see if they just snap Pyroblast us. Yeah. Not much we could do there, unfortunately. That's those mirror images really, like, I think when I played the deck, that was one of the cards I pointed out as being like, oh, I'm not exactly sure what this is doing here, especially because it was a 1-1 split of Chain Gang and Ghastly Conjurer. But we now saw like exactly where that card is great in. Exactly what kind of situation. Alright. Paladin. If I knew it was Murloc, I'd kind of be tempted to keep the Soulfire. Is Dreadlord hopefully going to do some work? Ooh, no Righteous Protector. So we get the trade here. Oof. I don't really want to tap, because if they have Divine Favor, it's going to get pretty bad for us. Hearthstone Dual Deck Series, Murlocs versus Demons. It's so true. That would actually be a reasonable idea, I think. Maybe not exactly like a dual deck thing, because I think the idea of dual decks was to like play with your friends. But like, just being able to buy a pre-constructed deck would be pretty dope. It's true, I don't have any friends. I don't know, it would be like, I'm sure Blizzarino has a good idea. Because, like, or would have a good idea. Because they did Cho'Gall in HOTS, which was like a hero that you can only play 2-player, and they did it as a Valentine's Day promotion, which is just the best idea. Draw last, lol. Bit like doing something where it's like, oh, like we collectively buy something maybe, or like if I buy something, then I can gift it to someone else. It's like a deck that they can play and I can play the deck or something. Alright. What burst can there? have? I guess does the Pally one, the Paladin version, Tarim? Yeah. Tarim would have been a reason to not buff that Despicable Dreadlord. And probably a good one. So the question is, are we silencing this or are we silencing our Crystal Weaver? Probably this, because we can just Soulfire that guy down. Oh boy. The Tarim, like, the sparkles on the Tarim buff are so obnoxious. Woo! Turns out the minion that does 1 damage at the end of every turn is pretty good against the deck that has a lot of 1 toughness minions. Alright, let's jump back in for game number 3. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. If you haven't played Zoolock before, it's really fun. Really fun to play. Same person? No. A friend was telling me about that Fable online digital CCG has like a co-op like dungeon mode or something. The idea of that sounds really cool. I think there was Blizzard posted something recently that they were thinking about it or that they had ideas. And that to me is just like the coolest shit. I love doing stuff with my pals. Love palling around. Love being pals with people. We got so many pals right here. You still feel like the co-op tavern brawl was the most fun you had? Yeah, all the co-op tavern brawls are really fun. Like, and I genuinely kind of look forward to a lot of them. It was a trick. You were supposed to kill the demons. I tricked them. My tricky powers. Yeah, all the co-op ones have been really cool. I also really like the single player ones. Like where it's kind of like a score attack kind of thing going on. Those are really fun too. I really don't want to get staggered on next turn. Staggered don't. Staggered don't talk to me or my son ever again. Staggered on all level up. Oh, they do have the level up. I have to stay it on. That was a pretty snap taunt. It's pretty confusing. Like I would have thought there were so many good options there. Yeah, like attack to trade in, poisonous to trade in. You have to have some pretty weak options to tornado taunt there. Alright, I think we'll end it there. We did pretty well today. 2-1. I was pretty happy with the deck. I'm still not sure about that 1-1 split on Abusive Sergeant and Fungal Mancer. Admittedly, every time we drew Fungal Mancer it was really good, and we only saw the Abusive Sergeant once, and it was fine. So, yeah, no real changes I'd make to the deck. Like I said, if you lack the Melchizar's Imps, Blood Imp's a fine replacement. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this list. Anything that I missed, anything that you think should be included or taken out, or maybe you've got a completely different Warlock archetype that you think is great for this kind of budget deck series. Definitely let me know. You can find me on all the links right here. All the social links will be posted below. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.